Hey guys, Terry here. I wanted to do a variety video here. I have a lot of things to to show you. So I have a stack of scraps that I want to put into my little system here that I use for card making. So I want to show you the card making process and how to organize your scraps and cut paper for cards, and then have a handy way that they can be used when you're going to a crop. And then I also have some stuff that recently came in the mail, and want to show you that. So let me get set up. Okay, let me show you what came in the mail. I recently ordered these two stamp sets from Stampin' Up. I love the I just love the flowers on this one. It kind of does it in two different styles, an outline and then the ones that look like a photograph. And then I like the sentiments on this one too. So this one's called To a Wild Rose, and I think I saw some sample cards made with this, and I just thought they were gorgeous. So I can't wait to play with that one. And then this one's a style that I really like too. I love the fonts on this. I thought they were fun and whimsical, and then the flowers looked like really fun ones that you could color with your blends. So love those. That one's called Bloom and Grow. And I think they have dies. I didn't get the dies just because I have a brother scan and cut, and I can cut around these if I did want to layer them on a card. So I thought those were beautiful. So those two came from Stampin' Up. I need to, speaking of the mail, I need to get my Christmas cards in the mail, so I need to do that tonight. I'll be staying up and getting my address labels printed and onto envelopes. I got my Stampin' Up catalog. I got mine from Dawn, so thank you for sending the new Stampin' Up catalog. This is the mini catalog from January to June for next year. And the color's beautiful. I had this magazine came in the mail too, and red seems to be the in color here. So, and then I also got I did an order with Kiwi Lane, and they had a this was one day last week, so this came really quickly. It was just kind of a surprise box, so I think it was $25, and you got some products, so I don't know what's in here. So that's the best kind of surprise. So let's see, and I think they said they were all different too. So Chestnut Drive. So this let me think. I don't remember what was this must be the surprise box. So Chestnut Drive. I might have added that to my cart. I don't remember, because I do know this was on my need to get list. Oh, and then they've got these little Tiny Nature, so that's perfect for card size, so I love that. It's got an arrow and leaves and flowers and a butterfly, so that's beautiful. Love that. And oh, the symbol for the Stay Strong, so that's beautiful. And then some kits. So this one is The World Is My Playground, and it's got some origami shapes and beautiful colors. Great variety of paper there. I do love their coordinating papers. And then this one here is beautiful too. This one is All Things Beautiful. So this was one of their April kits last year, or maybe it was the year before. I know they were kind of you know, going through their stuff to make room for new stuff. So looks like maybe it was April of 2019. But again, beautiful paper. And I love their system. If you haven't seen their system, I'll link to some of my videos for Kiwi Lane. So I just love their system. It's just supposed to be nice and simple and easy scrapbook layouts. So love those. So now let me show you again. I wanted to make sure that people realized I have a way that I take my scraps. So these are some recent scraps, and what I do is I go through them, and if they're too small, I don't keep them. But if I can cut kind of a 4x6, at least a 4x6 out of it, I will keep the scrap. So these ones I'll cut down to be about 6 inches wide, and then they'll fit into my little these little photo boxes. And I have these arranged by rainbow color, and that way when I go to a crop, I can mat my card that I make. I usually make something on white cardstock. I mat that on a color, and then I put that on a card base. So let me show you that system. I usually have a basket where I've got my scraps, and then I take my paper cutter, and I love a guillotine cutter. And this one's nice because it's 6 inches wide, but then it does have an extension where you can do larger pieces of paper. But I know that this here is 6 inches. So what I'll do is I'll take these and cut them all down. And if it's a scrap from a 12 by 12, you know, 6 inches is just half of it. So I cut all those scraps down, and then I get out the little box that has those colors in it. Like this one has blacks and whites and grays and browns in there. And then I've got them by color, and that way my scraps are sized such that I can cut something out on my Cricut for different colors, or I can mat for cards. So I use it for scrapbooking and for cards. And I have it in this iris box that holds, and I'll have links to these too. This box holds all these, it's made for photos, and then it has a very nice handle on it, and then I can take this with me to crops, or I can have it here near my desk. So I've got my rainbow assortment of colors of cardstock, and then on this side I've got different kinds of embellishments. Like I've got wood veneers, I've got buttons and brads, little pieces of ephemera, what are these called? You know, the little pops of color, enamel dots, and bling. So it's just a good way to have like a little variety pack to travel with. And I've got it near my desk, and it's handy to use. So whether I'm doing cards or layouts, that's handy. So I told you a little bit about the scraps, and see, I would just throw this away, or you keep it for a tag. I mean, sometimes I have little scraps here on my desk, because you know how we are. We can't throw anything away. But I wanted to remind people that if you buy 8.5 by 11 paper, and this is Nina 110 pound weight solar white, I find that I use this heavy 110 pound weight for card bases. So let me show you. I have some here that are folded. I usually keep a stash of them, so it's ready for when I'm making cards. And if you take an 8.5 by 11 and just cut it right down the middle, then you've got the perfect A2 size card that fits in an envelope. So there's a larger one, there's a 5 by 7 card, but this is the smaller 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is exactly half of the 8.5 by 11. So what I do is I take this and cut it lengthwise, and you could cut it either direction. I just happen to do lengthwise, and I do it at 4 1/4. And then I would use my bone folder to fold that in half, or you can use the, I'm losing my words tonight here, but crease it so that you can fold the card in half. And then it can open this way, or it can open from the top, depending on how you want to have your decorations on the front of the card. But if you cut the 8.5 piece of paper in half, it makes the perfect size card. So I usually have a stash of those in one of my little bins, so that I'm ready for a card making session. And then I also wanted to show that if you take a 12 by 12 piece of paper and cut it in half, so 6 inches wide, and then cut 2 more times at the 4-inch mark, so you get exactly 6 of these out of your 12 by 12 piece of paper. So this would work. Maybe you've cut something on your Cricut and you have scraps left. You can cut this up, or you can just take some of your 12 by 12 cardstock. And this doesn't have to be thick, because this is going to be what you help decorate your cards with. So if you do that, you can see you'll have 6 pieces of purple. So if you took a rainbow variety pack of 12 by 12 paper and cut it into these 4 by 6s, I wanted to show you that this fits. Yeah. Should have kept that out. This fits on an A2 size card if you cut 3/4 off. So let's do that. We're going to cut 3/4 of an inch off. So this was 6 inches. If I move it over to 5 1/4 and cut that little sliver off. So we took a 12 by 12 piece of paper and cut it into 6 pieces. We cut a strip off, and then that makes the card front. So you can either have that be what you decorate, or you can take another smaller piece of white paper and trim it down, and then you've got your matting on there. So it's pretty nice that the 12 by 12 piece of paper makes 6 pieces to go on the 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So that's how I have kind of a variety pack. And then this piece here, if you did decorate the front of it, let's say we stamped our flowers on here and colored them, you could use this extra piece of paper to stamp your sentiment on. Like I might use the white embossing to put the sentiment on this purple, and then it color coordinates with whatever you put on the card. So just a handy way to have some cardstock available and ready for, because then when you go to sit down and you get that new stamp set that you want to play with, you know, you're all excited about your new stamp set and you want to make something, you can have your paper supplies ready, get some ink out, and then start making your decorations on your cards. And then that way you've got your card bases ready to go, and you've got your matting ready to go, and then you can cut down other white pieces of paper to be on the front. I would make it just a little bit smaller than this 4 by 6. We cut off 3/4 of an inch, so this is 5 1/4 wide by 4. I would take a white piece of paper and make it be, and you could have a stash of those too in another bin. You could have just the fronts. So what I do is I have another one that's just for the card fronts, and it is 8.5 by 11 cut down, and you can see it's some scraps too. And then I also have Desert Storm too. So it's a kind of a nice neutral color to use too. And then that 3/4 of an inch that I cut off, I keep those for the sentiments to put across it. So again, you've got scraps ready to go, and then it quickly helps that you don't have to dig everything out for making cards. If you've got your paper ready and your inks and markers and this, you're ready to make cards. So I hope that helps you, gives you some ideas. I'll link to some of my other videos where I show some more ideas. And like and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys.